Hello, this is the Mercedes Benz EQC 400 from 2020 year of production, and this model is not produced anymore. Nevertheless, if you want to buy a used car same as this, there are plenty of options on the used car market, and the prices start from $25,000. But if you want to have a well-equipped car with very good condition, you should count on at least 29,000 USD. And I've been driving this car for about 3 days, and I must say it's amazing. Before I used to drive Zeekr 001, BYD Tang, and this car is a truly premium, truly luxurious car, and you feel it almost in every detail, especially taking into account its price today. The new car in official store in 2020, exactly like this, cost around 80,000 US dollars. And the top version costs more than 90,000 US dollars. So for today's price, it's really a bargain. This is actually the first Mercedes electric car which was mass-produced, and it debuted in about 2018. And the roots of this car goes to Mercedes Benz S204, the E-State version of C-Class. And from that platform, Mercedes made the GLC car, and GLC is basically this car, but here they added battery. This car is 600 kilograms heavier, and they changed, of course, all the exterior panels and all the suspension, about which I will talk a bit later. And this car actually has acceleration compared to the GLC AMG with V8 turbo. The acceleration from 0 to 100 here is just 4.8 seconds. And the total power of two motors is 408 horsepower. And I think this car accelerates amazingly. As it basically was the first mass-produced electric Mercedes-Benz, this car had several severe technical problems. The biggest was the problem with motors. The cooling liquid could get inside and make the motor unrepairable. And actually it caused a lot of warranty claims and a lot of dissatisfaction with Chinese buyers who had to wait the replacement for this motor sometimes from 3 to 5 months. And this car is really produced in China, was produced in China, but the motors were imported from Germany. Also, there were some problems with the electric steering system. Minor problems, but motor problem is the biggest. And we have inspected about 7 cars, 7 used EQC for our buyers. And all of them, without any exception, they had maintenance record about changing or repairment of the motor and drive shafts. And this car is actually not an exception. Chinese market had 3 versions of this car: EQC 350, EQC 400 basic version, same as this one, and EQC 400 top. And they can be easily distinguished by appearance. EQC 350 has different front grille, which is less aggressive, less sportive, and has much more horizontal stripes. Also, the wheel rims in EQC 350 will be just 18-inch. This one we have 19-inch with AMG logo, and the top version has same design, star-shaped design, but 20-inch wheels. This version is EQC 400 basic, and from year to year they changed model year of the car, and they had some minor changes in equipment. But based on exactly this one, the equipment is quite nice, especially for 2022. From exterior we see that this car has 360 degrees cameras, and also this car features adaptive matrix LED light, which is quite good. The other differences between versions could be found only inside, and inside it's a truly fine finishing. We have natural leather on the seats, natural leather on the steering wheel, and the driving seat and steering wheel column has the electric adjustment with memory. Driver's seat has seat heating and seat ventilation, and the passenger seat has only seat heating. EQC could also be equipped with head-up display, which is not present in this particular car as it was the optional equipment in all the versions, including the top version. This car has the only one added option, is the ACC Adaptive Cruise Control System, which at those times cost about $1,500. Also, the sound system here is standard, but in the top version or for extra money you could get the Burmester Audio, which sounds better and also made the interior look much more expensive because all the speaker covers would be characteristic Burmester stainless steel polished covers, which were extremely beautiful. But I must say that the standard audio system sounds very nice, very beautifully, very solid, and it is better than, for example, Dynaudio in BYD. The battery in all versions and in all years of production doesn't have any alternative. It's the only one 79.4 kilowatt-hours battery, and as I know, it's made based on LG cells, and the battery has liquid cooling and heating. And obviously this is a conversion from petrol to electric platform, and in my opinion it's one of the best examples of conversion because the whole interior space and luggage compartment space didn't suffer completely from changing from petrol to electricity. It's same comfortable and same practical as GLC car. Each version of EQC features this old-fashioned and small sunroof, which can be opened electrically, and pay attention that this car is 4 years old, 15,000 kilometers, and the previous owner didn't even take the protective film from the sunroof cover, from the cluster gauge, and from the door seals. It's for me amazing. He paid more than $80,000 for this car and almost didn't use it. Now let's say several words about the system of this car. Now, this screen looks quite small in 2024, but it's very responsive, and we should start from that this car has a lot of languages inserted by default. It has like Russian, English, some Arabian languages, of course Chinese, Polish, and so on, Danish, Czech language. It's the only one car which is so globally adjusted, which I know. The only Mercedes do it, but they do it in all of their versions. This car has ambient light system, which maybe you cannot clearly see now because it's too sunny. And also I like how this car shows the electric consumption menu, because it can show the consumption by every consumer in the car. For example, here it shows the drive motor consumption, the heating and cooling consumption, and the other consumers. And this car you can drive very moderately, about 300 kilometers. But if you drive really fast using the 408 horsepower, it will drive only about 200 kilometers, to be honest, or even less. Yet for this money and for this year of production, it is not so bad. Inside, everything you touch is pretty nice. It's very soft. Every plastic, even on the lower part of the doors, is very soft, and the quality is amazing. Everything is good. It's better than most of Chinese brands. Here you have very small cracking noise, but it's only like 5 or 10% from what you have in the modern EQE SUV, which was made in 2023. And the cluster gauge is very beautiful, and in 2024 it still looks nice. Now I'm sitting behind myself, and I cannot call this car spacious, yet I can call it comfortable. The best achievement of Mercedes Benz is that the floor level completely didn't change compared to GLC car, and as you see, I still have plenty of height between the floor and my seat. I have enough legroom and enough room between the knees and the seat, and the biggest problem here is the very small angle of the backrest of my seat. And for my head, I have about 10 centimeters, and I'm 178 centimeters high. Luggage compartment is one of my favorite features in this car. First of all, because I like to open it through this rotating logo, and by the way, the rear view camera is also hidden under this logo. And all the versions had electric opening and closing of the tailgate. And here we have one of the best finishing of the trunk I have experienced in past 2 years. The shape very perfect. It's quite square shape, and the volume is also quite big. And you have the folding of rear seats in just one button. You see, it's very convenient, and also you can easily take off this shelf, and you have plenty of space and almost flat bed. And here under this cover, under this floor, we also have the niche, which is quite big. Here you can put your charger, some tools, and so on. And pay attention on the condition of the car. The owner who owned it for 4 years didn't take the protective film here as well. So I think the luggage compartment here is 5 points out of 5. And the size of it I will show you on the infography right now. And I was a little bit surprised because this car doesn't have any button for clearance, ground clearance adjustment, for loading height adjustment, and in the rear you have the air suspension actually. So why it's like that? The answer is very simple. Let me show you. This is maybe the only and the largest disadvantage of conversion this car from petrol to electric, and it is her ground clearance. Look at this. Here is drive motor, and between the drive motor and ground you have only 13.5 centimeters. This is extremely bad ground clearance, and you even see here some small scratches, some minor scratches made on the perfect Chinese roads. And even the suspension suspension arms, they fixed to the body extremely high, much higher than we see the motor. Motor is much lower than the suspension arms. You see here is air suspension, and it means that it is a compromise. It is a big compromise. When they shifted this car to electric, they didn't have any other chance to put here the big electric motor. This is maybe the biggest disadvantage of this car, to be honest. And from the front, the situation doesn't seem so bad. By the way, the turning angle of these wheels is extremely nice, and the turning radius of the car is extremely small. Here we have the double wishbone suspension, which is almost fully aluminum. We have the aluminum subframe in the front, and here the ground clearance is better. Yet in the lowest position, it's also about 14 centimeters, which is not good, especially for 2024 year level of electric cars. When driving EQC, the feeling of the size of the car is amazing. The accelerator and steering wheel adjustments are perfect. The turning radius is small, and as a result I get a lot of pleasure from maneuvering handling this car here on the narrow pathways of this parking place. On the contrary to extremely wide cars such as Zeekr 001, I do not feel tired from driving Mercedes at all, and also it doesn't feel heavy, although it has 2,400 kilograms of curb weight. The side mirrors are actually small, but at the same time very convenient. This is the feature of Mercedes. They might do something in their own way, which at the first sight looks not optimal, but when using it you feel it is good. The second row, for example, also not the most spacious in the class, but still pleasant sitting there. Mercedes found somehow a way to make this car according to people biorhythm or something like that. But the actual habitat of this car is Autobahn. The true opening of the character of this car happens at the speed of 150-160 km per hour, when it feels extremely stable and organic, and probably it comes from the genes of Mercedes, when even the small CLA is extremely nice driving at the high speed. Now we are doing acceleration from zero. We are now in sport mode, and it is extremely fast. The acceleration is somewhere on the level of BYD tongue, but handling is much more confident and purebred. One of the cars I would definitely like to drive daily for a long time. The smoothness of riding and the soundproof is definitely on the top level. I have found only two disadvantages here. The A-pillar is quite thick and can hide a motorcycle in the blind spot easily. The second one is the brakes. Someone says ID4 has bad braking performance, but it is totally not true. You just have to press the brakes actively. In EQC, this is much more brightly expressed. The brakes adjustment is a little not perfect. The beginning of the brake pedal cycle is totally good, but at one definite point the brake pedal comes to the dead point, and when you are not used to it you may feel that the car lost brakes for a while. In fact, you have just to regulate the braking force by pushing the brake pedal in this dead point quite strongly. The feeling of the speed in this car is the smallest I have ever experienced. It is even better than Zeekr 001, and when you drive 140, you feel like driving just 40. By the way, the top speed here is limited by 180 km per hour, and Zeekr can go up to 200. This car has a lot of safety assist systems, such as brake assist, lane keeping assist, and the blind spot monitoring. In 2018 it was good equipment, but of course today even basic model of Volkswagen ID3 have all of that by default. This particular car has the optional adaptive cruise system, which is easily defined by these buttons on the steering wheel. This option cost about 1,500 USD at the time when this car was new. By the way, in terms of driving, it is quite close to Zeekr 001, which I used to own, but at the same time for me it feels more refined. The acceleration is more smooth, the car reactions feel more proper. Right now, we accelerated unwillingly to 9 meters per hour in just several seconds, and because this car makes it so unnoticeable, it feels even more fast. Just start off driving and we have 90 on the speedometer. In the two-wheel drive ID4, the same feeling is from reaching 40 km per hour. And when driving, there are no any signs of used car, no creaks of plastic, no any suspension malfunction or sounds from the vehicle body. I feel like I took a brand new car from the showroom for a test drive, despite in fact it is 4 years old. Only the sunroof shows this car cannot be from 2024. All other design of the interior are very classical and not out to date. The big amount of physical buttons feel today as a high-class car without saving money. Drive mode, volume, air conditioner, parking cameras, menu, all can be turned on by conveniently pressing a separate button. Also, it has one programmable button. So what I can tell you about the old Merc, which is 6-year-old model. Is it outdated? Well, yes and no. There are some obvious disadvantages which results from the conversion to petrol to electricity. Yes, we still do not have the frunk, we still have the big driving shaft tunnel in the interior, which is completely not used, and we have the really bad ground clearance. But at the same time, in terms of acceleration, in terms of quality, in terms of feeling from interaction between you and this car is still a luxurious premium car, which feels amazing in 2024. And for me, this is the best daily driver for this money, for the city use, because for the intercity use, maybe the battery life is a little bit not enough, but driving it in the city is completely not a problem. And if you want to order this car from China or any other car, like there we have some ID series, some Xiaopeng, you can contact us directly via the information in the description to this video. There you have the phone number, and or write just comments under this video, and please put a like and subscription for this video. I will be happy for that. And everyone have a good day. Goodbye.